Hiya. So it's me again. And today we are back with another episode of our Wuthering Waves progression. Now, this week, just like the first, is going to be very much similar where we're just trying to get our feet off the ground so that our progression will be smooth going forward. In the first episode, our goal was to try to get as much of the story done as possible and try to level up our characters to try to at least get a baseline and work towards getting our free resonator from the new Voyage event. A lot of those same motifs still exist here. We did manage to finish the new Voyage event though, which is very nice. We managed to get an encore to join our party, which is very nice. And our main goal for this week was trying to hit Union level 40. The reason why I wanted to hit Union level 40 is because I hate the feeling of this happening. So I went out of my way to completely eliminate this from ever happening ever again. We did a lot of quests, and we also did quests that make areas a lot more accessible now, because going into the forest with all of the monkeys and going into the Sea of Flames when you don't have the quest complete is actually very obnoxious. So there's positives coming around from all different places. In terms of story that actually matters, we managed to complete Mount Firmament today. Now, I want to put complete in quotation marks because I skipped through most of the story. I only let the story play out when the Xianyun LARPer was on screen and Jinchi was on screen because Jinchi is my favorite character. But moving forward, I am going to be taking my time with the story, as from this point on, I actually have no idea as to what's really happened. And the same thing with companion quests for characters that I haven't completed. The only character quest that I have completed is Jian and Jinchi, from as far as I remember. So if the progression isn't as fast, I do want to apologize in advance. I actually want to pay attention to the story and make sure that I'm absorbing every single detail as I approach Rinasida, because I've been hearing that the story has been getting a lot better in Wuthering Waves, which does tend to make sense, because usually the further you progress into a story and the more that you give a story time to develop, the better it generally gets. And getting through Mount Firmament has had multiple benefits for my account, in terms of unlocking the bell shop, I guess you could call it, in Mount Firmament, and giving me a lot of Union XP, which is what I used to get to Union level 40. I did also pop a few wave plate crystals just to round off that last little bit of XP because I was getting tired of grinding out the entire level from 39 to 40 in a day. So we did that and we got to Union level 40. Now, the reason why Union level 40 is so important is because it gives us our databank level not just 20, but 21. I also decided to take some time to grind out databank level 21 as it wasn't too far from the databank level 20 that I was going to be on the moment I hit Union level 40. So we did that as well, and now I am guaranteed 5-star echoes instead of it being a 50-50, which is absolutely massive. I don't have to be scared in terms of leveling up or choosing specific echoes. And it also gives me the option to use modifiers. So if I hit a 5-star echo in a specific set that I'm looking for, I can change it to the right main stat and hope that I can get some good rolls on it. Now, I probably will be using my modifiers to force as much damage as possible, at least on Havoc Rover and Encore, but we're going to see what happens going forward. In terms of quote-unquote endgame content, I've actually managed to get through most of the experimental zone in the tower. I just need to do the final floor on both sides, so once my Encore is built, and both of my characters are around level 70 with decent echoes, then I should be able to finally move on to the Hazard Tower, which is what I've been waiting for so long, which means that I can constantly repeat and get a new income flow of asteroids, which is absolutely awesome. I still haven't started Whimpering Waste. I'm pretty sure I am able to, and I think I should be able to get at least some form of score if I were to start it. So definitely going to be doing that next because we are kind of short on asteroids and we need them very desperately as the Shorekeeper banner is starting to run out. There's only 10 days left and I think I need another 50 to 60 pulls to try to get Shorekeeper before the banner goes away. So we're definitely going to have to be pushing towards those modes and unlocking them and pushing for as many pulls as I can potentially get. Alrighty, so here we are. I'd like to just show this, the most notable detail being Union level 40 and Databank level 21, which means that finally there is no inconsistencies before I hit SOL phase 5, right? SOL phase 5. I was stuck at level 18, which is why the main goal for this week was actually getting to SOL phase 5. Because this was bugging me so much. There were so many times where I'd get an echo and it just rolled 4-star, but it was the right stat and everything, but it was 4-star, so it just didn't give me as much stats as I was really hoping for. But yeah, here we are with our Encore. Now the Encore is 60. I haven't done as many runs for the Infernal Rider, but now since I am SOL phase 5, I should be able to get more boss rewards from bosses that I kill across the map, and same thing with the weekly bosses. The remaining attempts reset today, and I was considering using them, but then I realized that if I'm going to get SOL phase 5 today, I might as well do that before I actually run the bosses. So we're going to do that probably tomorrow when I get the chance or the wave plates to do so. We're probably going to do some Dreamless because the Havoc Rover needs mats from that specific boss. Last week I kind of just dumped it all into Scar's weekly materials, so Encore is going to be completely fine, whereas Havoc Rover is probably going to need some work in terms of talents. Now, talents is something that I'm actually going to have to start paying attention to, because talents is just like everything else, just like the weapon and gear is a huge part of a character's damage. Now, another thing to pay attention to is my Union level, still. And the reason for this is because if we go back to the events, and we go to the Awakening Journey, the 5-star weapon supply chest is gonna be super huge for this account. Now, I don't know exactly what I'm gonna go for, because to be honest, I wish I could pick a whole bunch of 5-star weapons. I need a whole bunch of them. But I think I'm gonna end up picking the sword, mainly because Havoc Rover's damage scales a lot if you get a 5-star weapon, and becomes a lot more comfortable to play as you get energy regen, you get crit rate, you get a much higher base attack. So I think we're going to do this because in terms of the Battle Pass weapon, I actually got the Augment for Encore, which is a decent weapon for her because it actually gives her 15% attack when you cast Resonance Liberation, which is ideally what you want to be doing on Encore. Because once you cast a Resonance Liberation, she does like a crap ton of normal attack damage. So, and the crit rate stat obviously makes it very easy to build her. As you can see, I already have 54% crit rate. If anything, I might even be more inclined to try to get a crit damage Infernal Rider. Now, I also might want to be focused on trying to roll a good Infernal Rider or just pieces in general if I ever have the time for Encore. Now I do have some pieces like this Huron, which is decent even though it's a 4 cost. This Virid Blaze Saurian, which is okay, but this and this definitely have to go ASAP. If I can get the Infernal Rider to go, that would be also pretty nice if I could switch it with crit damage. But yeah, the Encore and the Havoc Rover I think is what our focus is going to be for the next few weeks so that I can clear the Experimental Tower and maybe try my hand at Whimpering Wastes, but a lot of our effort is going to be put into getting these characters up to speed over the next couple weeks, because I think at this point in time it is going to take a decent amount of time before I actually do start making my characters well-rounded in every single way. Now, in terms of constellations, I don't even know how I'm supposed to get all 6 of these. When I first played Wuthering Waves, my Havoc Rover was also at the 2nd wave band. So I guess if I continue the story, I might have potential for more of these wave bands. I know one comes from the Sonus caskets that are scattered around Jinzhou, so I'm definitely going to need to pay attention to those, because if I want to max out my rover, getting the wave bands is going to be absolutely huge. The 5th wave band and the 6th wave band are actually massive. So in the same way that Encore gets a lot of crit rate from her weapon, I'm thinking I want to do the same thing for Rover, where I go for a crit damage Dreamless, but I will keep it as crit rate for now, because I am struggling on crit rate, but getting the extra 25% crit rate from this, and eventually when I get my Emerald of Genesis, I'll have way too much crit rate, if anything. So, yeah. Besides that, we've put a small bit of effort into Verena. I'm hoping to get a 4-star rectifier that's actually useful for her. For now, I'm pretty much not leveling her weapon at all. In terms of Chishia, she's kind of retired now that I have Encore, and I've given her weapon to Mortefi. And Mortefi is kind of in the same boat as Sanhua, where I'm like half-heartedly putting some effort into them. Now, when I actually manage to get to these characters, I have no idea. Sanhua will probably have like a higher priority than Mortefi, because Sanhua is actually very beneficial towards Encore, and because I'm actually getting very close towards C6. So, yeah. Sanhua definitely will probably be the next character in line once I finish building Havoc Rover and Encore. But I feel like the biggest issue with this account right now starting off is I actually just don't have enough DPSs, which is really weird. And I'm not inclined to pull for any of these standard 5-star ones from the choice banner over here, because I straight up just feel like they're not good enough. And the fact that I have to pull for Shorekeeper because I just think she's so valuable is draining me of a lot of primos, you know, which means that I can't really go for other characters that can suffice as a DPS. So that's kind of our #1 struggle right now, I'd say, if I were to start pushing endgame stuff. I feel like the best way to work around this is maybe forcing like a 3rd DPS. But I feel like it'd be wasting my resources if I were to do something like that. That's kind of where we're at. Now that I actually am open to being able to get 5-star echoes, a lot of my gameplay might just be running around and just killing echoes or killing monsters around the map. You know, just spending my resin as fast as I can and just running around the map like a goofy goober. In terms of progression, Where's the Tower of Adversity? Yeah, we're almost entirely through the experiment zone. And in terms of holograms, I actually started one specific hologram. The Imperience Heron. The reason why I did this is because of the guidebook. The guidebook, at least for the phases before, gave a lot of free Union XP and Databank XP, so we kind of used that to our advantage to push for SOL Phase 5, and I kind of want to continue actually following this guidebook, like getting 30% in Mount Firmament, 12 crests in the Experiment Zone, and maybe doing the Crownless Tier 3, because this Union XP will be useful towards getting Union rank 45, which will give me the weapon, and 1,000 asteroids is obviously not a small amount either, which we can put towards our Shorekeeper, which we definitely want to get as soon as possible. If I can get any sort of pulls and try the weapon, that would be really sick, but I think at this rate, I don't think the weapon is possible unless if I grind really, 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 really hard. But we're keeping our fingers crossed, and we're going to try our best. Maybe we get lucky, but at this rate, it seems like we're just going to get Shorekeeper, and we're going to need another Rectifier to make Shorekeeper work as well. But yeah, that'll be it. And that'll pretty much be it in general. Now, unlike MapleStory, there's a lot less content or a lot less going on and a lot less that I have to work for, which means that the videos will generally be a lot shorter, but I think it's nice to have a good mix of long and short videos. So yeah, that'll be it. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Remember to like, comment, and sub, or I will literally make you lose your next 50-50. Much love, and peace out.